Hey guys, you know what that sound means?
It's time
Mel
for the
Kiper,
NFL draft.
Mel Kiper is on
It's
our television.
draft season. It's
That
draft
is
season. So welcome in everyone to the SchmoDraft.
the
Yeah,
SchmoDraft.
I
Okay,
did that.
Okay.
I did that. I didn't consult with you guys before I did that.
that's fine. You can do your own things. It's allowed on the Schmo table.
I'm Shake and Bake here with Divock and Rainman per usual, and we have a special Schmo table with you. In honor of the NFL draft, we are bringing you our Schmo mock draft, which will not just be an article that you can read on our lovely website or me just talking through 32 picks that I think should happen. No, we're going to instill the great art of debate as Rayman and I go head to head, and Divock will be our loyal but fair mediator.
Yes, I'll make sure you guys don't ramble on too much about whatever. I mean, I know Shake and Bake, you're gonna want to go all in on your Jonathan Allen pick.
So all in, but
yeah,
as I said beforehand, I have my Rain Man / Ben McAdoo sheets all laminated. They are totally semen proof, and I'm ready to dig in to the NFL draft.
I'm glad they're semen proof.
It's very important. It's very important this week.
It's the most important thing about probably the entire draft.
Wait. Shake and Bake. What is the greatest pick you've called that people have doubted you when you said the team was going to pick X and they did? Mine was Mike Evans to the Bucks.
Yeah, let's get something clear. Shake and Baker's our resident draft expert. He lives for this shit.
For those of you who don't know, this is my day of the year. I love this stuff. I really can't even really tell you why or when it started.
Right.
One year, I just decided I just followed the whole draft process. I think it was, I want to say the 2007 or 2006 draft. For whatever reason that year, I decided I was following the whole draft from the end of the season, combine, in through the 3 days, when it was still 3 days or 2 days, whatever the hell it was. And
it was 2 days back then.
It's 2 days. We needed rounds 1, 2, and 3, and then the 4, 5, and 6. And since then, I am so gung-ho and on the NFL draft. It is my thing. It's my favorite thing. It's why I do what I do for you lovely people out there. And I am excited to bring you my knowledge and insight through this and some other events we have that will be going on live during the draft, which we'll get to later. Rain Man, I know you also enjoy this time of year, so
I love it. I watch all 7 rounds, and I get made fun of for it.
Yeah, same here.
Well, you get made fun of for a lot of things.
I do.
So this is one of the few things that Raymond and I both get made fun of for.
So, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I'll make fun of you for both of you.
Great.
I'll probably make fun of Rain Man more.
That's cool.
That's fair. Okay.
Yep. All right.
Well, without further ado, I turn it over to the mediator. Please, open the debate.
So, without sounding like a broken record, the first pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Shake and Bake.
Well, after much toiling and really thinking this through, the Browns are taking Myles Garrett. They have to take Myles Garrett. There's no and or buts about it. I know Warren Sapp came out this week and said that he wants nothing to do with him. There have been some other guys who've been worried about the fact that he's a little off-brand, but he's the best athlete in this draft. He is the most upside. You take Myles Garrett 10 times out of 10 right here, and you just hope Cleveland doesn't find a way to fuck this pick or him up.
Right. Well, before Rayman goes, I should probably go over the rules of the mock draft challenge that we got going on here. So it's gonna be pretty simple. If you get the exact player right, that's 10 points. If you get the position right, that's gonna be 5 points.
Okay.
Is that a fair scoring system? Do we need anything else?
Agreed.
Any bonuses for the conference? Do we need anything like that? I don't know. I don't think so.
The conference doesn't tie together. Like you shouldn't.
Right. You should throw conference out the window in the NFL when we get to the draft.
Yeah, you shouldn't say like I picked Jonathan Allen and Leonard Fournette was picked, and they're both in the SEC. Like that's nah.
Right. Okay. So we got 10 points for the player, exact player, 5 points for the position. Myles Garrett for Shake and Bake. Rain Man, are you going to match that?
It's got to be Myles Garrett. I mean, Cleveland would be stupid not to pick him. I could see Cleveland going for Mitch Trubisky just because they're Cleveland. But, God, I hope Cleveland doesn't fuck this up again.
All right.
You have to take Myles Garrett. Some people are saying he's the best defensive line prospect since Bruce Smith. I mean, yes, he did disappear in some big games, but he's so raw and so athletic, and he did have still 8.5 sacks. You got to take him.
With the high ankle sprain all year.
Yeah.
This past year isn't the best example as to why Myles Garrett should be the number 1 pick. His season actually is, but that's neither here nor there.
Right, let's move on to the 49ers are number 2. Now we're going to get to some differences here. Potential. Right. All right. So, Rain Man, why don't you start this one off?
So I'm going to go with Solomon Thomas here, and I think he's a great run stuffer. The 49ers gave up the most rushing yards by far in the league with 2,654. They need a run stuffer, and they also need someone who can, he's great against the run. He's good against the pass, and I think he'll just get better. And I think he's a solid linchpin for them changing from a 3-4 to a 4-3 defense. I think he fits with the 49ers, and I think Mitch Trubisky is overrated and shouldn't be a top.
All right, I think shake it back. You're up.
So I also have Solomon Thomas, which we're off to a hot start here as far as the debate goes. Everything I keep hearing says that San Francisco loves Mitch Trubisky and Solomon Thomas. So knowing that you have an offensive guy, you've signed 2 quarterbacks in the offseason, and being that this isn't a great quarterback draft, I think they'll go with Thomas. Like Rain Man said, he's a fit to be a 4-3 end. And I think Kyle Shanahan's defensive staff will do a good job of finding ways to move him around the defensive line to play inside and outside, since he was a 3-4 end in college, and he will still be effective. He's not who I would take if I was John Lynch, but he's who apparently John Lynch is going to take, and that's how we're doing this.
Yeah.
So they're going to back-to-back years. 49ers are taking a D end.
3 years in a row, actually.
Arik Armstead
3 years.
And DeForest Buckner.
Yeah.
Okay, so they
3 Pac-12 defensive ends in a row, except now in this new system, Armstead and Buckner will probably play defensive tackle.
Yeah, they'll move inside.
Okay. So they're trying to build a young defensive line there that's going to hopefully for the 49ers.
And athletic.
Yeah, a lot of athletes.
The quarterback.
All righty. Bears. My Bears. Which player's career are we going to ruin now?
Yeah, well, you won't be ruining this guy's career because I'm going with my main man, Jonathan Allen, at number 3.
Oh, there we go. This is Shake and Bake's guy. Shake and Bake, are you all right? Is that ambulance for you?
That's my ambulance is just for me. They are my heart's pounding.
I know you've been waiting for this moment for your entire life.
At least your sheets aren't ruined right now.
What was that?
At least your sheets aren't ruined right now.
No.
His sheets are fine.
I've got wet wipes. We're good to go. But the reason that they're picking Jonathan Allen is he's a great fit in the Bears 3-4 defense, being that he just came out of a multi-set D. He can play a 3-4 defensive end. He can play 4-3 defensive end. He loves kicking inside to play tackle. He gets after the player. He's probably the best run stuffer in the draft overall. And he simply comes from a winning program. And that's what the Bears need right now is the Bears need winners and leaders and guys with confidence, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And we know from everything on Jonathan Allen that he is nothing short of a leader and a confident young man. Comes from a military background. He has no problems off the field. He is a guy who you can build your franchise around. Arthritic shoulders and all, which won't be an issue because they haven't been an issue. People just worry because God forbid that you not nitpick every little piece of potential catastrophe before the NFL draft. This is not a Daquan Bowers situation where Daquan Bowers might have to have knee surgery that never let him play football again, making him fall in the draft. I think Jonathan Allen is more than worth the number 3 overall pick.
There you go. That's the Jonathan Allen rant from Shake and Bake.
Yeah, I was just gonna let him go because he's on.
I mean, this is his moment. This is his guy. I mean, I'd let Shake and Bake go on for the entire podcast he wanted about.
There's nothing like a guy.
I know he did
an outside on the D line, man. Nothing like it. besides great offensive line blocking.
So he likes the Bears to really be stacking up on those. So that's 3 straight DNs from Shake and Bake. Okay.
For me, this is the first time I'll disagree with him, and I think they go with Jamal Adams.
Right. I think that's fair as well.
That's the chalk right there. That's the chalk. I've seen Jamal Adams in most mock drafts.
I mean, honestly, Malik Hooker is an incredible talent with Ed Reed-like upside, but with all the injuries, it's just not safe to take him. I think Jamal Adams has a lower ceiling, but not by much. He's a healthier, he's healthier. And I think he can play in the box, and he can also track down the ball. And I think that, the Bears secondary needs a lot of work. And I don't think, as much as Allen is versatile, I don't think he would be utilizing Vic Fangio's scheme as much as Shake and Bake thinks. And because of that, I think Jamal Adams is a better fit. And, people used to say don't draft safety so early, but, Eric Berry, you can do it and you can find that talent if the talent is there. And he's a blue chip safety prospect.
Fine with that.
All righty. That's my Bears guy, Jamal Adams. I mean, they need help in the secondary. They haven't had a good safety, and Adrian Amos is decent, but they've always had a hole in that safety position for quite a while. All right. We have up next the Jaguars.
So all those things you just said about Jamal Adams are things that also can apply to the needs of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's why I have the Jaguars taking Jamal Adams number 4, simply because of all those D linemen that just got taken. I think that's somewhere that they'd look. This is a pick that I think the Jaguars should trade out of and trade as far back, acquire picks, so that they can draft 5 brand new offensive linemen, because that's what they really need.
That is definitely what they need.
Being that that's not feasible at the moment, Jamal Adams is a guy who can play free or strong safety. Everyone's talking about Malik Hooker's interception numbers. I'm looking at the fact that Jamal Adams has had multiple years starting for a top-tier defense in LSU. He was the leader of that team this year, comes up and tackles well, hits like a linebacker, tackles like a linebacker, also covers a lot of space on the back end. Yeah, the Jags signed Barry Church, and that's really cute, but Jamal Adams has a lot more upside than Barry Church on the back end. He's a guy who, between him and Jalen Ramsey, the Jaguars can have a great secondary for years and years to come. I like Jamal Adams in Jacksonville.
I'm going to swap with you because I picked Jonathan Allen for the Jaguars. I know they signed Calais Campbell, but their defensive line needs as much help as it can get, and Calais Campbell's getting up there in age. I think he's a good person for Allen to study under because he has that versatility of going inside on pass rushing downs in Arizona, and I think he would be the type of defensive lineman that Allen could be. And I think that Allen could be potentially better, but I think he's a good person to understudy, and I think he would give the Jaguars a lot more depth along that line. I know Barry Church is not the answer. I watched him in the NFC East. He's not what you want, but he's enough to be able to take a different safety later on in the draft in a very deep secondary draft.
Well, not only that, the Jaguars already have what they think is their center fielder in Tayshaun Gibson.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't think where either of us are going wrong there with probably Jaguars taking defense.
Yeah.
I've seen some Leonard Fournette to the Jaguars.
That offensive line is so bad. I don't want to draft a running back at 4.
Leonard Fournette could close the door in his career if he gets drafted to the Jaguars.
Exactly. Honestly, look at TJ Yeldon. It's the same thing. Not that TJ Yeldon is as talented as Leonard Fournette, but I mean, they just can't get any push for anyone. So
yeah, I mean, you could have drafted Zeke Elliott to the Jaguars, and he'd be relevant.
Who would have been a wreck? Their offensive line is not ready for him.
This is not the Dallas Cowboys drafting at number 4. This is the Jacksonville Jaguars who haven't drafted an offensive lineman in the first round since Eugene Monroe. Or no, they had Luke Joeckel, and that was a disaster. Luke Joeckel, who was a disaster. So either way, they haven't drafted a good offensive lineman in the first round since Eugene Monroe.
Right.
Okay,
and
so let's move on. Let's move on to the next. Number 5, we got the Los Angeles Rams.
No, you don't.
Tennessee Titans, actually.
Tennessee Titans.
Is it the Titans?
Yeah,
this is the trade from last year.
The Goff
trade. The Goff trade. We do have the Titans.
Yeah.
Wow.
The mediator's off to a hot start.
Oh man.
That was terrible mediating. What?
I'm a.
Get your shit together.
Yep. Goff trade. I was trying to erase that from memory. For all those Rams fans out there listening.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I have them. If I were the Titans, I would trade down from this pick, but obviously that's not how it works in this draft. So I'm gonna say they go with Marshawn Lattimore. He has 1 year production, but he is the best cornerback prospect in the draft. I think they need a man corner, even though they signed Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan's more of a nickel corner. He covers slot receivers and quicker receivers. I think they need an outside one-on-one, man cover corner, and Marshawn Lattimore fits that bill. So I'm going to go with Marshawn Lattimore.
So I'm going to agree to disagree with you, because I agree that the Tennessee Titans are going to take Marshawn Lattimore, but I disagree that the Titans should trade out of this. I think when you're the Titans and you're on the edge of owning this division, honestly, you probably have the best roster overall, even with the Texans getting J.J. Watt back and the Colts having Andrew Luck, but those guys all have their own issues.
Right.
I think the Titans should stay at 5, take Lattimore, because he is the corner with the most upside. Yeah. I think there are other corners in this draft who have a better skill set, but not the overall upside or the just natural playmaking instincts of Marshawn Lattimore. And this is a great corner class to start off with, so that's not really saying anything bad about the rest of the corner class. But Marshawn Lattimore, he had the 40. He's had the great season, the great single starting year at Ohio State. He's got good measurables, being 6 foot, 6'1", and he just seems to have just a natural feel for the position, which is very rare. I like him fitting in Tennessee to play alongside Logan Ryan and Jonathan Cyprien, who is signed this offseason. It just makes a lot of sense for Tennessee right now to go corner rather than try and take a receiver this early.
All right. Now we got the inaugural draft pick of the Los Angeles Chargers.
No,
we don't. We have the New York Jets.
New York Jets. Oh my God!
What are you looking at?
I don't, for real, dude.
I skipped the Jets. Okay, I skipped the Jets. The Jets at number 6.
Well, I have the Jets taking Malik Hooker at the safety of Ohio State. So we got back-to-back Buckeye defensive backs.
Yeah.
Once again, Hooker only started for this year, but he's very opportunistic. He also has a great feel for the ball and turning interceptions into big returns. That's rare for a guy with so little actual playing experience at the D1 college level. Honestly, all you have to look at, because the only good play Ohio State made in the college football playoff was his interception, which was fantastic and just a perfect read by a free safety. The Jets offense has a lot more issues than just drafting a wide receiver, tight end, running back, or quarterback here. And so I think that you go safety here, you go with the young ball hawk, you give yourself a chance with that good young pass rush to help set up a shitty offense to in better position with more turnovers. I just think Hooker feels like a better choice here than the quarterbacks or the wide receivers or tight ends that could possibly go this high.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm really tempted to say Leonard Fournette because I know the Jets go by the best person available BPA, and Leonard Fournette seems like this would be his floor for me. I know they have a ton of issues. Obviously, Nick Mangold leaving is a huge gaping hole that they need to fill, and their offensive line isn't great. But they need help for the 5 quarterbacks they don't have 5 quarterbacks, but Christian Hackenberg, Josh.
Rayman, who's your pick?
My pick is Leonard Fournette.
There you go.
He'll ease
Leonard Fournette.
He'll ease the pressure on the quarterbacks to develop. They don't have a quarterback that can be their starter for a long time. I think they need to figure that out, but I think Leonard Fournette would ease some of that.
And
transition.
Rayman, for Leonard Fournette's sake, I hope you're wrong.
I do too. I hope I'm wrong too.
I hope you're wrong.
His career would be over.
His career is in great jeopardy.
Yeah.
With I mean, the Jets aren't necessarily a black hole for running backs. I mean,
no, they seem to do fine with a pretty average offensive line, but I just they, especially with Brandon Marshall no longer being there, they just need so much help on offense. And while this is a good skill position draft, I just can't do it right now.
You know how I feel about running backs being taken.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I mean, there are a bevy of other players they could take. It's just, it doesn't. It seems like that there should be another whole year spent on trying to get this offense back together. And I don't know if this is the place to start. Maybe it is, but we will see.
I would be shocked if they went with Leonard Fournette.
I don't think, if I were the Jets, that's not who I would pick, but I think that's who they are going to pick.
Would you be shocked, Rain Man, if they went with Leonard Fournette?
I wouldn't be shocked. That's who I'm guessing.
Rain Man, I mean, Shake and Bake. Sorry, with Shake and Bake, would you be shocked? They went with Leonard Fournette.
Not 100%. I think that there are 3 or 4 skill position guys that they could take there on offense, but like I said, I just feel I don't think I haven't picked an offensive player to come off the board yet. Which is probably asking for a beating coming my score come Thursday. But I just it just doesn't feel right to start loading up on weapons when you're probably not getting a quarterback in this draft.
They have 5 on their roster. Anyway,
Go Chargers. Go.
Finally. Holy crap. You finally got it after 3 picks.
I got them.
So,
Go Chargers.
So for the Chargers, I'm actually going to put Malik Hooker. They need a safety, especially after they lost Eric Weddle. I'm going to have them picking Malik Hooker. As Shake and Bake said, he is one of the best prospects, and he has a ton of upside. Both him and Marshawn Lattimore have tons of upside in their respective positions. I think he adds a huge element to their defense and replaces Dwight Lowry, who has – 2 years on his contract.
Shake and bake, go.
Malik Hooker would be a perfect fit in San Diego if he was still there, but he's not in my draft. I have them finally giving Phillip Rivers some goddamn help on offense and taking Clemson receiver Mike Williams.
Wow.
I think Mike Williams is a great fit for what the Chargers are trying to do on offense right now. He's a jump ball receiver. God knows Keenan Allen can't play more than 2 quarters in a season. So that was a lot of hurt to my fantasy team this year. So in that hurt, I have found that the Chargers need to find a reliable, actual number 1 receiver that they think they can get through 16 games. I think that he could really help make the Chargers offense exciting again, especially the move to LA. They need something to sell that team on in LA because they're not going to be stretched for selling tickets this year. I like Mike Williams. If Malik Hooker was there, he'd be the pick because he'd be perfect for Gus Bradley's defense, but he's not. Mike Williams and Charger Blue.
Will he be better than the first 2 Mike Williams to come across?
God
Mike
can
Williams.
only hope.
God can only hope.
That would be USC Mike Williams and the Syracuse Mike Williams, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I think it was Syracuse. Yeah.
Yep. He was good for a year or 2.
He was good for a year too.
Trouble.
Yeah, the other Mike Williams was never. He was a bust.
Yeah, USC.
Third time's the charm,
with the lines. Third time's the charm, and there needs to be another Mike Williams to replace the Mike Williams from Clemson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In college, there always needs to be a Mike Williams wide receiver in college football.
That there does.
That's what,
I'm sure there's someone out there that we can find. That's for another Schmotable, though.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Williams and Steve Smith. Name your kids Mike Williams or Steve Smith, and they'll become NFL wide receivers.
Not necessarily good ones, but they'll be there.
True, very true.
Because they're only, there's only one good Steve Smith. The other one also from USC was garbage.
Right. All right, Panthers at 8.
This is where I have Fournette coming off the board.
Okay.
And I think that this is a massive luxury pick for the Panthers because, once again, they should trade back and try and invest in offensive line or secondary or D-line. But, as we've talked about, there's been a lot of good D-linemen already taken. There's been a lot there's probably the best cornerback and best 2 other defensive backs, safeties, taken already. Jonathan Stewart's at the end of his rope. Cam Newton is just a walking target at this point. And I think that even though the Panthers need some help up front on their offensive line, the threat of Cam Newton running can really offset any bust potential for Fournette, simply because it'll help open up holes. They have some good guys along the interior. I think Fournette would be a great fit with Cam Newton in that backfield and really help jumpstart that Panthers offense again, because they want to run the ball.
So I would agree with you. If Leonard Fournette was still in my draft, I think he would be the perfect. It would be the perfect spot for him to fall to the Panthers, because they need Cam Newton. It predicates his success a lot on play action and his ability to drop back and throw balls, and I think that throw deep balls, and I think that a lot of that comes from the success of the run and being.
But Rayman, you are picking who?
Christian McCaffrey.
There
I know. Go. Look, I honestly don't think McCaffrey should go this high, but because of his combine,
the Panthers are high on him, apparently.
Exactly. I think the Panthers will end up picking him. I don't think that's where he should go. I agree with you. The Panthers should trade down. They should load up on offensive linemen. Like it's their job to protect Cam Newton. But I think, they're high on Christian McCaffrey. Everyone's saying he's going to go in the top 10. I think that's where he falls, and I think he replaces Jonathan Stewart, whose knees are pretty much crumbling.
I think McCaffrey would be a good fit there.
Yeah,
with the Panthers. I think that'd be interesting to have.
It would be interesting, and they need offensive playmakers, as they said this offseason, and he's definitely the definition of that.
And he could go out into the slot.
Yep. Slot, return kicks, punts, whatever you want.
Yep.
All right. Next up, your guys there.
Rain Man, don't fuck this one up, okay?
Cincinnati Bengals. I know. I think I have an idea who Shake and Bake's going with here. I think I have a slight idea.
I'll let Shake and Bake go. I'll go first on the Eagles.
All right, Shake and Bake.
I'll clean this one up. Take the lead.
Yeah. Rayman, take the lead. Go ahead.
Okay. I honestly think that they're gonna go with Reuben Foster.
Oh,
you didn't fuck this one up. This is great.
He didn't fuck it up. He didn't fuck it up.
And he's a really instinctive guy. Vontae's Burfict can't really stay on the field.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, Vontae's might be listening to this, Rain Man.
I'm sorry, Vontae's, don't kill me. But honestly, they need front seven help, and Reuben Foster is an instinctive and very great athlete. I don't think his diluted sample and kind of rage-induced yelling at a nurse will cause him to fall past the Bengals, because the Bengals love head cases.
They do. Well, they do. He seems like a perfect fit.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Well,
Shake and
he is a perfect fit for all of those reasons that Rayman just stated. But Ray Maluga got cut. They need a middle linebacker. They signed Kevin Minter away from the Cardinals this past offseason. But Kevin Minter is a guy who can probably play strong side and is only signed to a 1-year contract. Reuben Foster is a guy who can command a defense for the next decade. He's got the football IQ to do it. He can't really speak English, as everyone on SportsCenter learned. But he can command a defense. He knows how to play football. His football IQ and his sideline-to-sideline range is off the charts. I will be very upset if this is not the pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. I simply think it makes too much sense. Yes, they need some pass rush help. Yes, they probably need some receiver and potentially some running back or offensive line help. But when you really look at this draft and what Reuben Foster can do, this might be one of the top 3 talents in the draft. He simply seems to keep kind of tripping over himself through the pre-draft process. I don't really know what a diluted sample means for a drug test, or, I got a small definition of it today, but it was from Fox Sports, so I don't really trust anything that comes off of there as is.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it makes too much sense. And like you said, the Bengals don't really even look at red flags. So I think him next to Vontae's Burfict and Kevin Minter really makes a lot of sense. And Vontae's and Reuben can make me a happy baker by cracking skulls for the next 10 years. So
would you renounce your Bengals fandom if they don't pick Reuben Foster there?
No, because let's be real here. I'm a sucker for the Bengals. So
you are the biggest
I'm a sucker for heartbreak. So I would not renounce it, but I will be very flustered.
Okay.
Frazzled, if you will.
Now we're gonna finish out the top 10 here. Buffalo Bills with
Let's go Buffalo.
No longer the Rex Ryan Buffalo Bills.
No. And that's why I think that they're going to make a very intelligent but off-brand first pick, and they're going to take Alabama tight end O.J. Howard.
Oh, wow. That's 3 Bama guys now in the top 10.
3. There might be 7 that go in the first round. So
that's absurd.
Yes.
And they didn't even win. And they didn't even win the national championship.
And they didn't even win the national title. I can tell you, I was sitting there in the seats. I watched it happen. But O.J. Howard is the most athletic tight end prospect in this draft. Maybe the most athletic tight end prospect since Vernon Davis. The difference is he's 6'6", and might not run a 4.3, but a 4.51 at his size is pretty great. He graded out as the best blocking tight end in college football, so he's a complete player. He didn't get used nearly enough at Alabama besides in those national title games against Clemson, which is a shame because of all the talent in the world that he has. I think he'll be a better pro than a college player because NFL coaches and what the tight end position means in the NFL these days just have to be drooling over guys like O.J. Howard who need a little polish on their route running, but block, catch, can score touchdowns, be a threat, and get deep. If you're keeping Tyrod Taylor as your quarterback, let's get him some weapons. Let's help the guy out. And let's take some pressure off Sammy Watkins, O.J. Howard, and the Bills.
But could he possibly?
O.J. and the Bills. We've seen this story before. Hopefully it ends a little better.
Wow.
Hopefully it ends a little better.
That's a low blow. That's low. But could he possibly be more athletic than Charles Clay? Is it possible?
It's just slightly possible.
It depends on what you define as athleticism, but that's besides the point. I mean, O.J. Howard you can define athleticism as so many different things. You can point to strength, speed, agility.
Well, he has all of those. So
he has all of them. That's what I'm saying. And I'm also going with O.J. Howard.
Yeah.
Honestly, they need another option outside of Sammy Watkins. They need someone over the middle who can be a possession guy. I think O.J. Howard has the potential, even though he wasn't used that way at Bama, and he can also block for LaShawn McCoy. And they need better blockers because after McCoy, their second running back isn't as good anymore because they let Mike Gillislee go. So they need a good blocking front, and O.J. Howard provides all of that. So I think he's a great fit.
All right, number 11, we've got the New Orleans Saints AP's team. Who's going to be AP's
in New Orleans?
The newest Adrian Peterson teammate will be Rayman. I think this is Rayman's turn. Rayman.
Yeah. So this one I'm actually kind of sad to say because I was hoping he'd be there for the Eagles, but I think they go Derek Barnett. Derek Barnett broke Reggie White's sack record at Tennessee. He's been extremely productive. His athleticism isn't as great, and it doesn't pop off, but his success against SEC competition makes him a great pick. And they need someone across the way from Cameron Jordan. They have an anemic defense, and they need a bulk up. And I think Derek Barnett provides that.
Now, I've Derek Barnett listed as defensive end / linebacker. What are we putting him there?
I'm putting him
a second for one. Defensive end. All right.
Well,
got it.
I like that pick. I like Derek Barnett. But I'm going to go with a different edge rusher, and I'm going to go with Hassan Reddick, the linebacker out of Temple.
You think he's going to be an edge rusher in the NFL?
Absolutely. That's what he's projecting as. He's projecting as a speed rusher off the corner, and I think that that's something that's going to be very, very effective for him and the Saints, depending on what kind of defense the Saints are really moving forward with, which is just a real toss-up because the Saints barely have a defense as is. I think he's a guy who doesn't need to be scheme specific. I think he can play a 3-4 outside linebacker or a 4-3 outside linebacker in the mold of Von Miller, not as well as Von Miller because that's really hard to do. But I think he can be a guy off the edge who really makes an impact, lives in the backfield, beats guys around the edge. And, there's just not a lot of people who have skyrocketed up the draft boards like this guy has thanks to the pre-draft process. He's tested well. He really does jump off the tape. Obviously, he's playing inferior competition from Temple. But if you watch him in that Notre Dame game last year when Temple blew it after they had a chance to win it, he really wreaked some havoc on a pretty good Notre Dame team. I think Hassan Reddick is a guy a lot of people are high on. I really hope the Bengals don't take him at 9. I hope he's still there at 11 for the Saints to pick up.
All right, we picked number 12. Let's try to keep a little bit shorter on the recaps. We got the Cleveland Browns.
Pick number 2 for the Cleveland Browns. This pains me to make this pick because
they're gonna ruin 2 people's lives in the first round.
They're gonna ruin Mitch Trubisky's life.
Oh boy.
And I'll keep this short and sweet. Deshaun Watson's the best quarterback in this draft class. You're high if you think otherwise, and if either of you are high right now, then we can talk about that. But neither here nor there. But the Browns love Mitch Trubisky because he's from Northern Ohio, because they like the accuracy and the numbers and the money ball crap that they're trying to do with the football. And they're going to take Mitch Trubisky at 12 if they don't already trade up and go and get him. So Mitch Trubisky at 12.
I agree. I have Mitch Trubisky there too. I think Hugh Jackson sees him as the next Andy Dalton, like his Andy Dalton.
Can't they just give us this first round pick for AJ?
The Browns just don't have anything. Like
they don't. That's a great analysis, Rain Man.
They did try and build out the offensive line, but even still, they have nothing else.
Nothing else. They have an offensive line. That's it.
Maybe.
So, he'll be well protected, but he can't throw it to anyone. So good luck with that, Mitch.
You got what? Corey Coleman? You got Josh Gordon coming back? Come on.
Josh Gordon's not going back to the Browns. He posted a picture of his Brown stuff in the trash with the skull over it. I don't think he's going back there.
That's actually awesome.
That's good. Josh Gordon. The Browns still think Josh Gordon's coming back. Come on.
No. The Browns don't want him back.
Browns fans do.
Yes,
the Browns fans think he's coming back.
There we go. That's accurate.
They're still dreaming about Terrell Pryor, Josh Gordon, wide receiver combos.
They also don't realize that Terrell Pryor's in Washington, but that's
they don't.
That's not here nor there.
They got Corey Coleman.
Hey,
and they got and who's their second?
Hopefully, he doesn't go to jail anytime soon.
Yeah, ooh.
That was gross,
man. Yeah,
Oof.
Poor Corey Coleman. All right. We got next on the slate. We got the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Shake and bake. Shake and bake's up here.
All right.
Yeah, shake and bake. You're up.
Okay.
All right. So here is where the best quarterback in the draft goes, and the Arizona Cardinals are going to steal Deshaun Watson from the rest of the league.
Wow.
Yes.
Shocker.
Yes, Deshaun Watson has a chance to go to the Jets. Yes, he has a chance to go to the Browns. But I just don't think that either team is legitimately going to take him. And I don't understand. I don't get why people don't like Deshaun Watson. I can't fathom it. I watched him destroy the best defense in the country 2 straight years in a row in the national title game, the biggest stage. I watched him tear apart Ohio State. I watched him tear apart Oklahoma. I watched him tear apart the ACC. Yeah, sure, he threw some interceptions. I watched Tim Williams, Jonathan Allen, and Reuben Foster fucking kill him on the same play, flip him through the air, land him short of the first down. He got back up, ran over to call the next play like literally no one had hit him. This guy is going to be such a good NFL quarterback, and I am excited for him to sit on the bench for 2 years while Carson Palmer wastes away as the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. Bruce Arians tutors this guy into to a Pro Bowl quarterback. It's going to be fun to watch.
Why you're making me want the Bears to take him?
I just you hear it from everyone who's interviewed Deshaun Watson so far that he is just a leader. He sees he can do all. The football IQ is great. The leadership is great. The personality is great. He wants to win. He is a winner. He won all 3 years at Clemson, and he wasn't even the full-time starter for his first year. There is nothing not to like about this guy. You can fix decision-making. You can fix mild tweaks in the throwing motion. He's a great athlete. He's got a big arm. He makes sense in the Arizona Cardinal system because it's a little spready with a lot of deep routes, and that's kind of what he ran at Clemson. Deshaun Watson's going to be a great.
I like that. I really like that pick from. That's really offbeat from the mock drafts you see on the internet, but that's why they do the draft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rayman.
Cut me off.
Rayman.
So Originally, I'm not gonna lie, I had Pat Mahomes, but I changed it to Hassan Reddick because Minter is because Minter was signed away, and basically they have Carlos Dansby and Hassan Reddick. Obviously, I live in Philly, so I got to see a lot of his stuff and hear about him on the radio. And a lot of evaluators on the speed, like game speed, toughness, and like intangibles, rated him like top rated. And I think he would be great for the Cardinals defense. I think he's a little bit undersized, but he has great athleticism. He's all over the field. He has great instincts. And I think like in the mold of Deion Buchanan and Tyrann Mathieu, they would find a way to make him unbelievable. And I think that's going to be their pick.
Raymond, you're really going by the book here. He's got chalk seed for Raymond. This is all 1 seeds.
Aren't we supposed to go with who they're going to pick? We get points.
Yeah, that. I mean, Raymond's playing to win. Shake and bake.
That's fine.
Shake and bake's picking all the upsets. And
I would.
I like it. I like Raymond's strategy here. I think he's
playing to win the game.
He's playing to win.
Settle down, Alan.
All right.
Let's see if you don't fuck up the Eagles pick. Let's see.
Eagle. I know who's the Eagle. Who are the Eagles picking?
The Eagles are picking Christian McCaffrey because Christian McCaffrey will still be on the board here, and the Eagles are apparently infatuated with Christian McCaffrey. I think Dalvin Cook should actually go here, but they're going to take McCaffrey simply because, like you said, for the Carolina Panthers, he's simply an offensive weapon that they can use in a lot of different ways. They still have Darren Sproles. They still have Ryan Matthews, I believe.
Yes.
And they are going to use McCaffrey all over the field. Doug Peterson likes guys like this, as you saw with a lot of those running backs he had in KC, who can do a lot of different things. This seems like a fit, even though Christian McCaffrey probably can't be a bell cow back in the NFL. He's going to be the Eagles' pick right here.
I actually disagree. I don't see the Eagles taking running back, but obviously Christian McCaffrey's off my board. What I would pick, if I were the Eagles in this position in my draft, I would pick Mike Williams. Because, yes, you signed Alshon Jeffrey to a 1-year deal. You signed Torrey Smith to a 3-year deal. But I don't know if Alshon Jeffrey will be able to come back. It will provide 2 really tall wide receivers who have great point of motion, like point of catch, high point of catch. Carson Wentz has a rocket of an arm. And I think that most of the rest of your offense is set. Now, yeah, I think they're going to take running back in the 3rd round, and I think they're going to take James Conner. But I think that right in this pick, they're going to pick a wide receiver because corner is so deep in this draft, and they need to surround Carson Wentz with a lot of weapons. And I think Mike Williams, Torrey Smith, and Alshon Jeffrey will provide them with that.
All right, 15 Indianapolis Colts.
Rayman,
I'm starting to cut you guys off. This is gonna be like the Oscars.
All right,
Rayman.
I have Charles Harris here. Really athletic, not necessarily as much production, a little bit raw, but I think that they need edge rushers. They got their best.
Give me the position. Give me the position.
Outside linebacker.
There you go.
they signed
outside linebacker.
They signed Jabal Sheard and John Simon. I mean, it's just. They lost Robert Mathis, and they lost their top pass rusher last year, who I'm
shake and bake. Go.
Charles Harris.
Garrett Bowles, offensive tackle, Utah. What have the Indianapolis Colts invested literally their entire livelihood? A young man by the name of Andrew Luck. And they thought over the last couple drafts, hey, it'd be smart if we draft every stupid fucking fast wide receiver possible. And, oh, wait, but we're not going to draft any offensive linemen to help protect this guy that we invested all these hundreds of millions of dollars in. While I don't think
out of a job.
While I don't think Garrett Bowles has the absolute most upside as an offensive tackle, I think he is the best pass blocker right now. And that's what the Colts want to do if they're going to start winning games. They need to start getting back to throwing the football. He's a good run blocker. He's a nasty streak.
Ravens.
Good fit in Indianapolis. Ravens.
All right, Ravens. Shake and bake.
Derek,
you're up here.
Derek Barnett, defensive end, outside linebacker for Tennessee. Barnett seems like an Ozzie Newsome guy. High motor. Not a ton of athletic upside, as Rain Man mentioned before, as he's off Rain Man's board. But he reminds me a lot of Terrell Suggs. And who better for Derek Barnett to learn how to play in the NFL end than Terrell Suggs himself? He's a guy who just simply the Ravens need because that defense is becoming ancient really, really, really fast.
I go with Cam Robinson, Alabama offensive tackle. And the reason I do that is because Rick Wagner left in free agency. They need to protect Joe Flacco. They have a solid offensive line across the board outside of that. And I think that Cam Robinson is someone they can plug and play right away and who will contribute to keeping Joe Flacco upright.
Very good. A Bama guy for Rayman before Shake and Bake.
Well,
surprising.
There are more guys. Don't worry.
Redskins at the 17.
So I heard
Rayman's up, I think.
Oh, Rayman's up.
Rayman?
Okay. I think that this is where, for me, the third Ohio State defensive back comes off Gary Conley.
You mean the rapist?
The rapist, even with the rape charges?
So that's the issue. Is if
that's a big issue. It's a big fucking issue, Rain.
No, but
he's been officially accused, and police are officially investigating him.
Right, but there are 3 witnesses, 2 of which who didn't know him and said nothing happened. I don't know. So you know what? I'll take that back, and I'll give.
Whoa!
I mean, look. All right, fine,
sir. Throw the flag.
All right, you know what?
That's a false start.
False start. I'm gonna give them Marlon Humphrey.
Wait, I don't know. Shake and Bake. Can we consult the official rulebook of the inaugural?
I feel like once there was a name out, you gotta stick with the name.
I think you do.
All right,
I think I got to give you Gary and Conley officially.
Fine.
You might get the position right though.
I might.
Yeah,
you might. Except today I read the most kind of just like the weirdest report that was all about the Redskins and their draft needs. Apparently, if he's there, they're going to take Jared Davis, by all accounts. The linebacker out of Florida, who has been really excellent, but had a couple ankle injuries this past year, and Florida sucks plays average all year, then sucks in the SEC championship. So a lot of the Florida defenders get lost in the shuffle. But apparently the Redskins just love Davis, so I'm going to take Davis because I think that happens. Apparently they like Dalvin Cook a lot too, so if it's going to come down to the Gator or the Seminole, apparently they're going to go with the Gators. So I'm just going to take Jared Davis. And
right. Is that some inside info, Shake and Bake?
Yeah, that's what I hear through my grapevines.
Sources.
Okay,
I like it. Sources. And we have the Titans at the 18.
I have Corey Davis, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan, going to the Tennessee Titans.
Wow, Corey Davis, the leading receiver
in NCAA history.
NCAA history. There he is.
I just think he's a complete wide receiver. He might not be an absolute burner, straight line burner, but that's okay. He finds ways to get open. He makes great catches. He put up great numbers against good teams. If Wisconsin or if Western Michigan were just thrown to him more in that Wisconsin game this year, they might have actually won that game. I think he's a good fit as number one with the other wide receivers the Titans have and the other playmakers they have. Marcus Mariota really needs a friend down the field, and I think Corey Davis is going to be that guy.
It's good to have friends.
It's good to have friends. Friends are important.
They are important. Raymond.
I agree with you on this pick, actually. I'm going to pick
Wow
as well. I was considering John Ross because Tennessee loves fast receivers who could be receivers, burners, Kendall Wright mold. But I think you go with the best bet, and I think Corey Davis is that, and I think he has tons of upside, and he would provide, a great weapon for Marcus Mariota.
Agreed.
Okay. Yeah. You know who I think of when I think of really fast Titans wide receivers. Tyrone Calico. Remember him?
Oh my God.
Tyrone Calico.
There's a name that never should have been brought back up.
Always used to draft that guy in Madden back in like our fantasy drafts back in like 2004 because he was just 99 speed, and we used to just throw the good old McNair to the good old go route, just throw it up to him, and Tyrone Calico, that guy could fly.
Flash from the past.
Flash from the past, Tyrone Calico. There you go. No other podcast you get Tyrone Calico references. That I can guarantee.
None.
Oh, all right. Next up, we got. Someone tell me who again? No, I lost
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 9.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Bucks.
I say they stay in state and they go with the Seminole Dalvin Cook.
Seminole. The Seminole.
Rain Man, you might just be a smart guy because I also have them taking Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I mean, Doug Martin's suspended for 3 games. You know, Sims is just he can't stay on the field all the time. I think Dalvin Cook is going to drop because of his terrible combine numbers, but because of his vision and his ability to get to his top end speed, I think he'll be good in the NFL.
How about that? Also, Doug Martin's just not very good.
He's not.
That too.
That too.
It just makes too much sense. He's a Florida native. He's a Northern Florida college star. Jameis Winston is, by all accounts, his best friend. They would love to play together. They already have instant chemistry. The Bucs need secondary help more, but this pick makes too much sense to not do.
Exactly. I will say something. My pick to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl this year is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh,
that is my bold prediction right there.
Joey, on a scale of 1 to Robert Downey Jr., how high are you?
Whoa. Robert Downey Jr. has really rebounded in life. Okay.
I know. I was making a
Iron Man.
I was making a basketball reference.
He is.
It's a good baseball reference.
It's a good reference. It is a good reference.
But I am, for this specific bet, I made it somewhat belligerently.
As should be.
I was somewhat belligerent when I made my 40-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl bet.
Those aren't terrible odds.
It's great odds, 40-1. Come on.
That's good.
It's great. Unlike my Cleveland Indians World Series bet, where I was blacked out. Let's go on to the Broncos. The Broncos.
All right,
so here is where I have Cam Robinson coming off the board.
Mm-hmm.
The Broncos are another team that just freaking needs offensive line so bad. Cam Robinson's a guy who really needs to develop his upper body, but I think has the best upside of any tackle in this draft. 3-year starter at Alabama. He kind of turned into a walking false start this year, but I think that was just a little bit of the fact that he was really too dominant at sometimes. Turn on any tape against him versus Myles Garrett. This guy shut Myles Garrett down 3 years in a row. I think Denver's going to get an absolute steal of an offensive lineman, a guy they really need to protect their 2 young quarterbacks and reestablish their running game, which they need if either of those 2 quarterbacks are ever going to become successful in the NFL.
My pick's Garrett Bowles, so we kind of flopped on the tackles, but Garrett Bowles to me fits here. He's a mauler. He has the upside to play left tackle. Obviously, you need to protect Paxton Lynch and Trevor Siemian or whoever else they can find.
Peyton Manning's available.
Peyton Manning is available, and they desperately need help on their offensive line, so I'm going Garrett Bowles.
Garrett Bowles just kind of sounds like a guy who'd play for the Broncos. I don't know.
He does.
Also fair.
He sounds like Garrett Wolf or Derek Wolf. That's probably what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Since he's
So like Garrett Bowles, Utah. He seems like a good fit. I like that pick, Rain Man.
Thank you.
Good pick, Raymond. Good pick.
Thank you.
By Rain Man. Okay, the Detroit Lions.
That's good.
They will be taking. Wow, they're the 21st. That's pretty impressive. They didn't have a bad year.
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. For this one, I think David Njoku. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Njoku. Schmo interviewed him.
Okay, Njoku. From University of Miami, the Eric Ebron the experiment failed. I thought he was going to do decently well with Matt Stafford, but he hasn't. Njoku can run routes. He can play across the middle, and I think he adds that element. Right now, they also need wide receivers, but I think they go with the tight end.
The best name in the NFL draft will belong to the Detroit Lions, as Taco Charlton will be a Lion.
Taco Charlton.
Defensive end out of Michigan. Simply because the Lions spent so much money in free agency on building up their offensive line. They're going to I think they're also going to try and draft a running back at some point in this draft to really get something going because Matt Stafford could only drop back so many times a game. I don't think you're wrong with the tight end selection, Rain Man, but I think that they're going to look at tight end and running back later down the draft. Right now, they need someone to help out Ziggy Ansah because he's really the only one making plays on defense at this point. Cornerback's another position, but I like Taco here. Guy coming out of Big Blue. Fans will like that. He's a really good upside as a pass rusher, and he will benefit from Ziggy on the other side and probably get some cheap sacks cleaning up anything that Ziggy misses. It just seems to make a lot of sense for the Lions.
I don't think Njoku would be the answer here. I think that would be an erroneous decision.
On all accounts?
I think it would be erroneous, correct. On all accounts.
On all accounts.
I think it would be quite the mistake. Let's go on to the Dolphins.
So this is really where I'm swinging for the fences. I'm trying to win Game 7 of the World Series with this pick.
Okay.
2 outs, bases loaded. I'm down 3 runs. I need this. This is where I think Jabril Peppers goes to the Miami Dolphins.
Wow, there you go.
You want the diluted sample?
What does that mean? Can we figure out what the fuck that means? That's the next rotation.
He drank too much water to try and hide that he was using drugs. That's what the NFL assumes. They assume a positive test because there's so much water per the test instead of the proteins that you're supposed to see in pee.
Yes.
And creatinine, that basically your creatinine levels are too low, and it means you took too much water to try and hide that you were using drugs. But
can I retort to that? Like, obviously, we're taking a sidebar here. That is the top 5 stupidest fucking things I've ever heard in my entire life. Top 5. Top 5. Easy.
We're all dumber for having listened to that.
Like, and Rayman, it's not you. For once, it's not you, my man. It's the NFL. Like, are you fucking kidding? These guys are literally put through 4 days of just workouts. Yep. Like I
agree with you. I think it's dumb.
I pee clear for hours after my single hour workout that I do per day because I just drink so much water. Like I must have dilution problems with my urine. Not to mention these guys who are drinking and I listened to something today that it apparently only takes 48 ounces of water to dilute your urine sample.
Yep.
48 ounces of water.
Is that going to be the hot buzzword of the draft? Dilute.
That will be the hot buzzword of the draft.
Because Reuben Foster also had one.
Yeah. But the difference is Reuben Foster also had the diluted sample was then followed by the getting sent home. And apparently they are connected by the hospital worker and the wait around for the results of this drug test and where he's supposed to go. And Reuben Foster is a bigger mess than Jabril's.
But the reason this matters is because they're entered into the NFL's substance abuse program.
It's stupid.
I agree. I agree. But if they get another, diluted sample or, they fuck up and use, then they're suspended for 4 games. And then after that, it's 2 years. So
why don't you just, stick some PVC pipe up my ass and fuck me? Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, are you kidding? And like I said, that's stupid.
No, it's stupid. I agree. I'm not saying.
I know, Rain Man. I'm talking the NFL. I'm not talking
the NFL. The NFL listens
right in the face. I have him bound and gagged in the corner of my room right now.
The Raj is a weekly listener of the SchmoDraft.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the draft.
What position do you want
here?
What position do you want him to be?
Safety.
Okay.
I mean, I have Gerard Davis, and Miami is one of those teams that had a lot of trouble against the run. I would pick a defensive tackle, but there just aren't that many, that are worth this grade. You could possibly trade up for Malik McDowell in the next round. I think Jarrad Davis has the instincts. They're looking for high character, smart players, according to like most reports. And Jarrad Davis fits the bill. He's instinctive, and I think he fits, and he's also an in-state talent. So I'm thinking Jarrad Davis.
To finish my point about Jabril Peppers, the real reason I'm taking Jabril Peppers is the Miami Dolphins owner is a rather prestigious Michigan alum.
He is. Stephen Ross.
Rather prestigious. There's like a business school or something crazy named
there is a business school named after him.
And I think that's going to be important. Like Rain Man said, they simply need guys who make plays on defense. And while Jabril might not have forced a lot of turnovers in his career at Michigan, he did make a lot of plays on defense. And they simply need guys who can do that. The athleticism of this guy is undoubtable. He can return kicks. He can even play some offense. I just think it seems like a fit as to what Miami really needs to try and take the next step.
All right, now we got the G-Man.
The G-Man. Honestly, I'm going to go Ryan Ramczyk here. They need a lot of help on the line. They've always needed a lot of help on that offensive line, and they just never get the right people. Eric Flowers bombed, and watching him go again, like it's good for the rest of the NFC East that they have an awful offensive line, but I think this is where they try and plug it up, and they pick Ramczyk.
Okay.
So I'm also going offensive line, but I'm going to light the lamp for the G-Men and take Forrest Lamp out of Western Kentucky.
Wow.
A lot of people like Forrest Lamp. I watched him play against Alabama this year. Actually, I was in New York watching him play against Alabama. And he was actually excellent. He was the best player on that Western Kentucky team by far. He's gotten more and more hype through the pre-draft process. Since the Giants lost out in the Adrian Peterson sweepstakes, I think that they're going to look to go up front instead of try and draft a running back. This guy can play guard or right tackle immediately. There's even a chance he could end up being their left tackle if he really does have as much upside as some of the guys who consider themselves experts believe.
What would you like him listed as, guard or tackle?
I have him offensive tackle / offensive guard. I think he'll start out at right guard because John Jerry is not a serviceable starting guard in the NFL anymore.
Absolutely not.
Okay. So I will confess. I will confess that when I wrote this pick in, I wrote Forrest Gump. I did. I thought about not changing it and just keeping it like that. So yeah, there's Forrest Gump.
Hey man, he's a prolific running back from Alabama. So
he would be a good fit with
they
needed him running game help.
They do.
Well, guys, as we both know, the Giants refuse to take running backs in the first round. They refuse to take linebackers. So if Forrest Gump or Bobby Boucher was on the board, who would they take?
I think there.
Eli Manning can relate to both of them.
The contribution, that's hard.
Yeah. So it's a tough pick. I think they go Forrest.
I think they go Bobby Boucher and try and get him to be the next Lawrence Taylor. But
Boucher would be off the board though, I think.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
He would have gone probably. I don't know who went. Browns would have probably taken Boucher.
So on to the Raiders.
The Las Vegas. This is so sad.
It's so sad.
It's fucking terrible. It's so bad.
Raiders fans are the only fans that rival Eagles fans in like intensity, and like it's just sad that they like got
like belligerence.
Yeah, that's what I meant by intensity. I was trying to be euphemistic, but you know what?
Don't use your Ivy League words. What the fuck does that mean?
Euphemism?
Well, euphemistic.
Yeah, it's
you and your Ivy League.
Euphemistic. It means like, not as harsh. Is that
why didn't you just say that then?
Sure it fucking does. I'm making shit up over there, Rain Man.
Rain Man is
All right, you guys. Zach Cunningham here. They need inside linebacker help around Khalil Mack.
Who did you have them taking?
Zach Cunningham.
From Vanderbilt.
And I think that, he's an instinctive He's an instinctive linebacker. He's a reliable tackler. He can stay on the field all 3 downs, and he can help in the pass game too, guarding tight ends. I think he's a fit here.
I like Cunningham there, but I think this late they are going to go for a little more value, and I think here's where Marlon Humphrey goes. I originally had Malik McDowell here and changed it just because I think the current attitude that the Raiders have is very confident, very positive, very no nonsense. And I think Malik McDowell's lack of a season this year will kind of really make him drop on draft day. Yeah. Even though they need help up the middle, like it's nobody's business, they also need help at corner. I think that's a given too. And with some defensive tackles that are looming later in the draft, I think they can fill that need then. Marlon Humphrey has all the talent in the world to become a press corner in the NFL. He needs a little more polish, a little more coaching. I think Jack Del Rio will give him just that. And I think the Raiders will end up with a pretty good corner, something that they've been missing for a while.
All right, we're getting to the home stretch here. Another Bama guy out of Shake and Bake.
Oh, yeah.
The Texans, the former team of Brock Osweiler. Who we got?
Well, Bill O'Brien will finally take a quarterback in the first round here so that he can try and mold someone, see if he really is the quarterback guru that we all have been told that he is. We haven't really seen it yet. But I think they take Pat Mahomes here.
Okay.
They keep the Texas gunslinger in Texas. I love Pat Mahomes. I think he can actually be a good NFL quarterback, but he needs Bill O'Brien to be the quarterback guru that we were promised when he was hired as the head coach of the Texans, something he hasn't delivered on yet. And so I want to see
garbage is that.
And if he can really turn the air raid spread offense guy who couldn't win in college into a legitimate NFL starter, and I think they're going to take Mahomes here.
Got a little Dak Prescott in him, Pat Mahomes?
Well, bigger arm, a little more Brett Favre, I think, personally.
Okay.
Good athlete and just likes to frickin' throw the ball as far as he can, and he can sling it. There's no doubt about it.
You can definitely sling it. I picked Pat Mahomes here too.
Look at us.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, we've been agreeing a lot. I agree with Shake and Bake. I think DeAndre Hopkins needs someone to throw him the goddamn ball.
Oh, you're telling me. You're telling me.
You're telling me too.
You're telling me. Oh my God.
And I think Bill O'Brien might get a little bit frustrated with him being a gunslinger, but I think he'll be like a calming influence and it'll probably help him out and, hopefully get his game up to where he could be a huge success in the NFL.
All right, Seahawks.
I am going to go with Obi Melifonwu.
Is that a real person?
Yes. Strong safety out of Connecticut. And I think
strong safety out of Connecticut. Obi-Wan Kenobi? Is that what we got here?
Melifonwu.
Okay, there it is.
And basically, I like his versatility. He could play as a nickel. He could play as a corner or a safety. With the Richard Sherman trade talks, with the Cam Chancellor's impending free agency, I think he really provides that versatility that Seattle covets in its defensive backs. He's big, he's fast, and he can play anywhere. And I think that they're kind of bereft at options because they only have Richard Sherman and Deshaun Shedd. So they need to restock in their defensive backs, and I think he provides really good.
And Earl Thomas not healthy.
Yeah,
so, not healthy. But Obi is an absolute freak. Tried to say freak there, which isn't really good.
All right, Elmer Fudd.
Obi Melifonwu. He was sent. Yeah.
But here's where I have Ryan Ramczyk going, the offensive tackle of Wisconsin.
Okay.
Let's just be real here. The Seahawks also need a ton of offensive line help. That can't be stated enough. Russell Wilson has to be healthy. They have to reestablish that running game. And I think that Ramczyk is a good guy to do it. He transferred to Wisconsin from a D3 school. I'm not even sure which school it was, but he worked his ass off and ended up dominating D1 college football. He was an All-American this year. I think he'll fit into that Seattle culture. And I think this year's going to be a big gut check for Seattle. I think this team's really going to come back together and start contending for Super Bowls again, but they can't do that if Russell Wilson is, has
running for his life
through his shoulder.
Yeah, running for his life. Get his Wisconsin guy out there to help him.
Exactly.
Help him block. Chiefs.
27. This is going to be a fun pick for Chiefs fans, and I'm excited to watch this from afar. I have them taking John Ross III from Washington.
Oh.
Mr. 40-time record holder himself. Can you imagine the fun packages that offensive genius like Andy Reid can put together with Tyreek Hill and this guy in the same backfield, split out wide, coming around the edge on end arounds? This could be a lot of fun. And I think it makes sense because even though they don't throw the deep ball a lot, they could really make some big splash plays that they've been missing since Jamal Charles kind of started to take over at running back. They have two young, good running backs they like. They have defensive players they like. Yes, they have a couple holes on defense they could fill here too. But I really think John Ross is a great fit for Kansas City. I think he opens up that offense. And you could see Kansas City really contend for that first to win their division this year. And I think that a guy like John Ross could help him do it.
I would just want to see John Ross and Tyreek Hill lateral the ball back and forth.
Exactly. That's an effective play.
That's all I want.
It's funny.
Give them a couple rugby plays to run and just see what they can do.
Why not?
I have John Ross too.
Okay.
Dear God.
I
like it.
Honestly, he just fits in their scheme.
He does.
And Andy Reid knows how to use those types of players.
He's an excellent route runner, and Andy Reid loves that.
Exactly. And I think Alex Smith, isn't a deep ball thrower at all.
Yeah.
But Andy Reid knows how to get the most out of his quarterbacks. Andy Reid runs a West Coast, kind of offense, and he'll fit John Ross in there just like he fit Tyreek Hill. I think they're going to be super fast, and I think it'll take some of the pressure off Jeremy Maclin and finally make him manageable. Not even great. It'll just make him like a decent wide receiver again.
He's got a lot of Deshaun Jackson in him.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, and that's
and we all know how that turned out.
And that's Andy Reid's guy. So
Andy Reid's guy.
We've got the Cowboys.
Dallas
Cowboys.
Fuck Dallas. Ugh. I hate Dallas so much, but
you should hate Dallas.
They're my least favorite team in sports.
I believe. I mean, you're an Eagles fan. Why wouldn't you hate Dallas?
They're just the worst.
I mean, I don't.
Well, they still are drafting, so
they're still drafting. We have to pick.
You can't skip them.
I know.
You do.
I think that most of the pass rushers are gone. You could go Takkarist McKinley here, but I think they're going with Adoree Jackson. They need.
I like that pick, Rain Man. Kudos to you.
Thank you. They need help in the secondary badly. They just lost almost all of their secondary, and they signed Nolan Carroll, who's a has-been from the Eagles, who did not even play that great there. So I think that they're going to draft Adoree Jackson.
So here is where I have Charles Harris going from Mizzou.
Okay.
Charles Harris is a guy, in my opinion, who's a perfect fit to slide way down the first round, but still go in the first. He's definitely one of the better pass rushing prospects in this class, but no one's really talking about him. And I think and while Jerry Jones loves a splash play, which is why I like that Adoree Jackson pick, Charles Harris fits a need that they have desperately, and that's pass rush. They do not have pass rushers. They have guys who can stop the run. Mm-hmm. Yes, they lost part of their secondary, but this is a really deep secondary class, and I think Dallas will look to snag one of those pass rushers now and work on corner and safety in the second and third rounds.
Right, and I mean, I agree with you. Harris is just off my board.
Yeah.
I agree. If he was there, I definitely would have put him in. That's why I said it. They might have picked Takkarist McKinley, but I think they would save him for later.
Okay. We're on to 29. 3 more picks left. We've got the Packers.
This is such a tough pick for me. And it's because we have, like you said, there's Tack McKinley still on the board. They could totally go corner, and I have Adoree Jackson and a couple other good corners on the board, and Green Bay needs corners. You saw the Falcons just absolutely expose them. But in my heart of hearts, when I really look at the Green Bay Packers, and I feel bad for this guy who's going to go here at 29, T.J. Watt is going to get drafted by the Packers. And I think T.J. Watt is going to be a solid NFL player, but he will never live up to the ridiculous standards that his brother has set for the Texans. But when the Packers draft him, they're going to expect 15 sacks a year, and that's not what T.J. Watt's going to give them. He can be an effective edge rusher. He's going to help that they're in a 3-4, and he can just get after the quarterback. But like I said, this draft has a lot of good pass rushers and a lot of good corners, so I think Green Bay goes pass rusher. I think they stay with T.J. Watt in state, which can alleviate some of the maybe stress or uncomfortability that comes with having the last name Watt. But Green Bay is going to take T.J. Watt.
So I actually have the same exact thing. I have T.J. Watt too. And
damn it, Rain Man. This is supposed to be a debate.
This is supposed to be a debate, but we're not just supposed to like pick different picks because one of us picks somebody. So
no,
this
is a very logical pick. This is logical.
And Clay Matthews fell off, and whether that's because of injuries or age, he'd be someone who could mentor T.J. Watt tremendously. And I think he fits into their scheme. And you'd be across from Nick Perry. You could allow, Clay Matthews to go inside or outside. He fares well at both. And if he's losing a step, it might help him to go inside and potentially rush from different places. I think T.J. Watt's a great pick, and I think that you're right. Being in state helps alleviate some of the pressure that comes with the Watt name.
All right, Steelers.
Ugh. Sorry, I vomited.
So this is where I have Jabril Peppers going.
I would be so upset,
and
I would be so angry.
I think that he's a perfect. I think he would be the next. Not as good as Troy Polamalu, but that type of athleticism. But he's bigger, and he is so fast. He's very strong, and I think that the Steelers. He seems like a good guy, and I think he'd fit the Steelers mold, and I think he's going to go to the Steelers.
Well, the Steelers aren't good guys.
Shake and bake. Yeah, what do you think about the Steelers being good guys?
They're a bunch of terrible people. I dislike all of them, but I agree on the position. But this is where I have Obi Melifonwu going for the same reasons. The Steelers secondary blows. They need pass rushers too, so I think Tack McKinley could go here, but I don't think that they want just another project who's a freak athlete at pass rusher because they have a couple of those and none of them have really panned out so far. While Obi is a little bit of a project, he's definitely one of the top 2 or 3 athletes in this draft. He's 6'4", he's 225 pounds, he runs 4.4s. And the Steelers haven't had a playmaker in the secondary since Troy Polamalu left, which is why I think that they'll go with this guy. And the Steelers, being the awful but successful organization that they are, will probably mold him into a Pro Bowler, and he'll be a monster at strong safety for them, and I'll just be upset about it.
Yep.
Well, Shake and Bake sports exist to make you upset.
Yeah,
I understand that.
It's actually a fact.
Except for Alabama. Yeah.
2017 has been about making Baker upset about sports, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Reds gave you some hope for a little bit.
A little bit. A little fun couple weeks,
It was.
All right. Now into the Falcons.
Falcons. This is Shake and Bake.
Falcons. So this is my luxury pick. This is the team that should take probably every other guy besides this guy, but are going to take him. And I have the Atlanta Falcons taking David Njoku.
I like that.
And I like it because it's kind of one of those things where this kid has so much upside, very raw, only played 9 games at Miami, I think it was. But why not? Why not continue? Let's be real here right now. Atlanta's a bunch of young defenders. They're all great against the pass. They probably need some corners and some pass rush help. But why not give Matt Ryan just another weapon to score touchdowns with? That was kind of the problem in the second half of the Super Bowl. Less that they couldn't stop the Patriots, is that they stopped scoring themselves. So why not take a guy with all the upside in the world, None of the other tight ends on this roster have the upside this guy has. So why not just take the luxury pick? There's a lot of other good defenders in this draft that you can get at the end of the second, the third round probably. Go for it. Go for the home run. Why not?
So this is actually, and honestly, I'm kind of nervous because I don't think he'll actually fall this far, but this is where I have Forrest Lamp going. Matt Ryan needs a clean pocket, and most of that mistake-riddled fourth quarter was interior pressure. He needs space to climb the pocket. He can't run outside. He needs a clean pocket, and I think Forrest Lamp plugs in right next to Alex Mack, and they become an elite line. And that's why I think Forrest Lamp fits really well. They could go like attack McKinley or Jordan Willis, but I think if Forrest Lamp is still here, that's where he goes.
And finally, the New Orleans Saints are Mr. Irrelevant here. This is the last pick.
Of the first round, Mr. Irrelevant.
Of the
Mr. Schmo-relevant.
Mr. Schmo-relevant. There it is.
Mr. Schmo-relevant. I'm gonna go with Tre'Davious White.
Tre'Davious.
In-house pick.
He's a Louisiana native. I had them going with Derek Barnett, getting pass rush help earlier. I think they go with a corner. They have someone in state. LSU has amazing corners, and I think he's one of the next that could be molded and at least help the Saints. Please stop picking safeties that what you whiff on, Kenny Vaccaro, and just pick a corner. And I think Tre'Davious White has some upside, and I think he would be a valuable starter on the Saints.
And finally, we get a guy who has an apostrophe in his name. I'm waiting for that.
Finally.
I mean, this has to be the longest in years where no one's had an apostrophe in their name.
That might be true.
I mean, come on, let's go. Shake and bake.
So here's where I have Adoree Jackson going. And I think people are really sleeping on Adoree Jackson. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's only 5'10", about 180 pounds, but he can run with absolutely anyone. He's one of the fastest guys in this draft, and he plays game speed and has good 40 speed. He's got great ball skills, played receiver, played punt return, kick return for USC. I just think he is the kind of playmaker the Saints need on defense. And when you play in the division that you do, you need as many good corners as possible in the NFC South. And now that you have added Deshaun Jackson to that mix, you need a guy who can just run fast in a straight line. So Adoree Jackson to the Saints. They add a playmaker on defense and special teams.
You know who's not sleeping on Adoree Jackson? Rain Man, because he's already off the board.
Yeah,
he's already off the board at 28.
Yeah.
Yep. And there it is, the first inaugural SchmoDraft. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Well
Thank you.
That was well done.
Rain Man, good luck to you.
Good luck to you, Shake.
Good luck to both of you. This was we'll be keeping track of what's going on here during the draft, and we'll probably have a recap at some point of who the champion is of the SchmoDraft. So thanks for listening, everyone.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for listening in, and make sure that you check out our Facebook page and our social media, as Divock and I will be doing some live commentary on the draft this coming Thursday, so don't miss out on that.
I'll be pretending to know what I'm talking about.
And
but
I'll
that's
be
and Shake and Bake will actually know what he's talking about.
But you'll look so pretty, Divock. It's going to be great.
I always look pretty. I'll have a very special jersey ready.
Love it. Big fan.
Ready to go. Shake and Bake, we're in a jersey, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Probably your Bama jersey.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a layered jersey.
Wait, do you have a Curtis Enos jersey?
I do not have a Curtis Enos jersey, and I would never wear that filth. That crap. I burned my Curtis Enos jersey way, way, way back. Come on.
At least you're honest.
Curtis Enos. My David Terrell jersey still hangs in my closet.
Okay.
But it will not be either of those. It is a former Bear. It is not a Bears jersey, but it is a former Bear. That is my clue.
Fine.
But I will save the surprise for draft day.
Don't wear a Jay Cutler jersey.
What is it?
Don't wear a Jay Cutler jersey.
It's an orange. It's an orange Jay Cutler jersey.
Yep.
It's not a Bears jersey, and it's not a Jay Cutler jersey.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
But it is a former Bear.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will look forward to it. Look for us on social media with it, guys.
Okay.